Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Group Chat, the #1 podcast in the world. You got Dion on in here holding it down. We have a special interview to kick off today's episode. We got Hex, an OG in gaming from OpTic Gaming. And he's here to talk about, shout out to us old folks, the boomers, still out here in the young man's world, making relevant brands, building incredible companies. And we get to hear about his new project. Pretty fascinating. He's based out of Texas. And then we get into some interesting topics. We talk a lot about crypto again this episode. I think the big takeaway is a good friend of mine's advice of ours gave me last night was, you go to sleep and it goes up. And I was like, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I go to sleep every night.
And I'm the voice of caution. The riskiest investor that most people know is the voice of caution now.
Yeah. And so we talk about that. We talk about the Grammy nominations, some supply chain issues that are now easing. And just general, like the best place to shop on Black Friday. I've given it. It's
a big secret.
And I think you guys are going to be shocked where the best deals in Black Friday are. So stay tuned and let's get into it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, everyone. We have another special guest today. And since we are all in on gaming, metaverse, crypto, we had to keep that tradition going. We have Hex, the founder of OpTic Gaming, in the building. Welcome.
I clap for myself.
Yeah, I like that. You're your own hype man.
By the way, like when a gaming person comes on, the sound is crisp. The internet is good. I mean, you look like you're in the Blue Origin rocket ship in the background.
See, looking out the window and seeing that the Earth is flat.
So where are you calling in from today?
So I'm in my home office right now. I have my office here, and then I have the Hex quarters, which is the organization sort of hub where people play, compete out of, and create content out of.
And that's out of Texas, right?
Yeah, that's 8 minutes from my house.
That's crazy because
North Dallas.
Because I don't consider like Texas to be like a gaming hub. How did that happen?
Dude, the internet here in Texas, in Dallas specifically, is so crazy that.
Like the connection?
I would say that, the connection, the latency. I would say that 90% of the league, for the Call of Duty League, all the teams are here because of the internet. Yeah, it's becoming the hub. You can't play out of New York. You can't play out of LA. The LA teams got shit on all last season, or the ones that were staying there, the latency is just not their friend. So Texas, North Texas, Dallas is the place to be.
That's crazy. That's really interesting. And give us some background on OpTic Gaming. I mean, I know the name because I hear it from kids. They talk about it. But like, how long has it been around?
It was founded in 2006. In 2009 is when I turned it into a business. In 2017 is when I sold majority of the company to the owners of Texas Rangers, which brought me here to Dallas. And happy to say, at the end of 2020, your man's bought that back. And
shit.
Wait, so you sold it to, it's the Hicks family that owns the Rangers?
The owners of the Texas Rangers. Neil Liebman, Ray Davis is the majority.
Got it.
So, it's good people.
And so you're rich because selling to a rich person, buying something back from a rich person can't be cheap.
Look, I can't talk about it.
So that's interesting. Like, how do you start a sports team in today's environment? Like, we know how like traditional sports team work because like it's impossible to break in. Like to own a baseball team, NFL team, or NBA team, it's not just money. Like, you got to be rich. You got to be white. You got to be
connected.
Connected. There's a lot of things you have to be to own a sports team in this country. You're a Mexican American immigrant, correct?
I am. I was born in El Paso, Texas, but I am an immigrant because I spent all my life until I was 13 years old in Juarez, Mexico. Yeah. So I'm lucky to be a citizen of the United States but I'm also lucky to have the perspective of an immigrant. So yeah.
And so
how does one? Well, first of all, thank you for calling it a sports team because in essence it is. There's just an E in front of it in this. How do you start one? Right place, right time with the right mentality. Right? There's a possibility here, but you have to build it. Right? Like there's an industry here, but you have to help build it. And that's how I got in. In 2009, we started making. Well, in 2007, we started making YouTube tutorials on how to be better at Call of Duty. And little by little, we started garnering an audience. And then people that knew us from YouTube, the same way that people know you from your podcast, like people are going to be more willing to back you over somebody that they don't know. So the more that we were on YouTube, the easier it was for us to have our fans be on our side, no matter what we did. And then the second we told them, it's like, oh, hey, look, we're all here because of Call of Duty. There's a tournament that we're going to be competing in. They were all about it. So that's how.
So your teams are exclusively Call of Duty?
No. Right now we up until call it 3 weeks ago, yes. But before the sale, no, we won championships in Dota. We won championships in Counter-Strike. We won championships in Halo. Most championships in Halo. Most championships in Gears of War. Most championships in Call of Duty. So we've had a really good competitive history. But when the franchising happened in Call of Duty, which meant that there was going to be no more open circuit tournaments, and if you wanted to compete at the league level, you had to buy a $27.5 million franchise fee own your own city.
So you're the real Jerry Jones of Texas because he's not winning titles.
Yeah, look, no, he's not winning titles, but he is winning. He's winning somewhere else.
Are you the most winning team in Texas? Texas doesn't win. Mavericks.
The Spurs had a run.
Mavericks' last title was how many years ago?
They won one.
Yeah,
too long.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, not right now. Not right now. Obviously, like the majority of our championships came while we were still in Chicago or in the suburbs of Chicago. So we haven't had the honor of bringing championships to Texas. But when we bring championships, it's not just for Texas; it's for the entirety of our audience, and it's a global one. My people in Australia love us. So it's the championship for them. My London people, like we're everywhere. So that's the beauty of the internet. No rivers, no mountains, no borders, no nothing. Right? It's everyone welcome.
And so, how does an esports team make money? Like, what are all the revenue streams?
I would say the majority of it is from sponsorships. Obviously, the eyeballs that esports has, right? Like across our network, we're sitting close to around 40 million just across everything. Around 40 million fans across the world. Obviously, there's a little bit of overlap between Twitter and YouTube and all of these other ones. But if you count everything across all of our personal stuff, like we get up there. So sponsorship money is the way that the majority of it is sponsorship money.
And what were you doing before gaming was lucrative enough for you to quit whatever you were doing before?
So mine was a funny, right? I right out of high school, I went to a semester of junior college. Wasn't for me. Started as a teller at a bank, and then from there I went into private banking, and then from there I went to the mortgage industry during the bubble, right in the 2000s. I'm 41. I started the gaming stuff when I was 29. So every time I hear a little 23, 24-year-old or younger say it's like, oh, it's too late. I'm like, man, dude, I was 29, looked like this. Had no business, playing video games at 29, so no excuses. But yeah, the majority of it comes from that.
Wow. And so,
mortgage industry. Sorry, my last real job though was in the private client group for AIG, the insurance company.
Yeah, they almost went under 2008.
Look, it happened. Was it me? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. I was there for both things. I was there for the mortgage crash, and I was there for the same thing that happened a little bit after. I started smelling myself. I'm like, man, I must have something on me because I'm attracting all of these bad things.
Dude, that's interesting. And I think the interesting thing you did reference is your age, because like when you think gaming, like I think of this 12-year-old kid that's and they're the kind of leaders of that industry, right? And you mentioned that you kind of started this whole kind of journey at 29 and you're 41 now. How do you feel? I'm 41 as well, and I'm in fashion, and that's a young person's game. Yeah. But like, how do you feel at 41 and being in gaming? Do you feel sometimes out of touch, or do you feel like you're in it more than ever?
Dude, you more than anyone or anybody from our generation, the people that had internet only on the second half of their high school years, we know what's up, right? Think about streetwear, right? You're in fashion. Streetwear was invented, I mean, in theory, right? It was popularized by all the old brands, Mecca, P&B, like, you name them all, right?
Yeah.
We were the leaders in that. So for anybody in the world, young or younger, to say that it's like, oh, you shouldn't dress like that. I'm like, well, first of all, you little young punk. Okay, we started this shit. I'm gonna dress the way I dress because we
Streetwear
started
is
this.
IRL.
Yeah.
Streetwear was created in real life.
That's right.
Yeah. And,
That's right.
and so that's interesting. And now, you've been in gaming for a long time, and it looks like you're launching a cannabis business.
I launched a cannabis business. Yes, I did. Pine Park.
And so that's interesting because I feel like there's a few paths for people like in your industry. There's people that are going heavy crypto, NFT, and then cannabis is something that I haven't seen from the gaming world. Primarily, my guess is most of these folks are so young, they don't even understand the opportunity.
Yep.
But like, when I think gaming, it's the same thing like, who's going to be the energy drink, who's going to be the alcohol brand, who's going to be the cannabis brand, who's going to be, whatever, the athleisure clothing. So how did you end up on cannabis? Because that's not the typical direction for all these other people.
Look, I had an itch, right? I got separated from my brand, that beautiful logo back there. I got separated from it for a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
When OpTic sold the second time, I had to separate myself from it. And since that moment, I said, there's zero chance that I don't, die years and decades from now as the owner of OpTic Gaming. So in that mentality and being the entrepreneur that I am, and I mean that I have the scars to show.
Yeah.
But I had two choices. It was either going to be salsa for tacos, right? I was going to make a hot sauce.
Ooh.
I was going to make a tequila, which obviously both of those things fall right in line.
Yeah.
Look at the skin I'm in, right? But another thing came up, and I saw a headline that said, that this is going to be a booming industry eventually. And it made sense, right? And I'm like, okay, well, tequila is a little bit oversaturated, right? How are you going to compete with the George Clooney's and all of these like massive people?
Yeah.
Salsa, I think that I could have made a dent no matter what, right? Like the hardest thing about a business is having clients, and when you have an audience that's followed you for such a long time, it makes it easier for you to be able to say, I can sell X amount to these people.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, I'm right in the middle of that perfect time where cannabis is becoming legal. It's not all the way there yet, but it is legal in some states. And secondly, my audience that started with me way back in 2009, they were 13 to 18-year-olds, the majority of them, which means that a decade later, guess what? Those people, they're young fans, but I'm talking about the people that have been with us from the beginning. So I figured that they were adults, and it would be something easy for me to explain, especially nowadays where cannabis isn't vilified the way that it has been for ever, right?
Yeah.
So it makes it an easier conversation to have.
So what's the law in Texas, for example, for cannabis? I haven't been
I
following.
can't believe I can't imagine Ted Cruz is happy that you're launching a cannabis brand.
Well, I'm launching. This is a California only brand.
There you go.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a California only brand. We can't consume here in Texas. Obviously, being who I am, I gotta follow the rules.
Yeah.
So I suffer a little bit, right? It's annoying.
Yeah.
But I try to make my way out to LA at least once a month.
And so what's the product rollout for a new cannabis brand?
So we launched with 6 strains. Two of those were grown in a facility that we call the Pine Park Hex Quarters in San Jose, or right outside of it. And from there, we grew 2 strains, Chem Reserve and Chem Driver being my favorite. And the rollout is pretty much, you partner with somebody, they grow it, and here we are. Boom, smoke this. It's delicious.
And so you're selling flowers, pre-rolls. What are you selling?
Right now, we're only selling flower, but we are going to be moving into the pre-rolls, the extracts, and in early December, we're going to be launching the hemp side of the business nationally. The CBD, CBGs, Delta 8s, all of that. Because the medicinal part of this is very important to me. Because in gaming, there's this sort of there's this sort of plague happening where professional athletes, esports athletes, take Adderall to be better at the game. It's a performance enhancing drug. But then on the downside of that, I mean, that's a downside, but on the downer side, you have to take something to make you be able to go to sleep so you can wake up the next day and compete at the highest levels. And this happens across all of esports, and it's becoming better, right? People are becoming better at not taking those bad things. So for me, the hemp side is very, very important because of the medicinal values that it brings to the table.
That's interesting. I never even thought about that. Do you think there'll ever be a time where they test for drugs?
They do already in Europe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in
Really?
Europe, they test for Adderall. Yeah, it's a performance-enhancing drug. Yeah, in the United States, they haven't gotten there because, people do get diagnosed with ADHD, and they do get, here's your Ritalin, here's your Adderall, here's your whatever. Here, ruin your liver and the neural pathways of your brain. It's all good as long as Big Pharma wins. We are all winning.
I feel like it's pretty easy to get a doctor's note to get Ritalin or Adderall.
Yeah.
Well, they're dying to hand it out.
Yeah, everybody makes money, man. And if you think about the underdog story that cannabis has to come to the table with, where alcohol, big tobacco, big pharma, our prison system, the cotton industry, they're all, they're all massively wealthy industries that can pay anything to the lobbyists to make sure that a natural plant stays illegal and bad, vilified.
Yeah. So how do you see that being in Texas, like California, whatever? You can just walk around with a joint and
jealous.
It just whatever. Like I remember when one day I was just walking down Sunset Boulevard, just smoking a joint, and I was like, this was maybe 5 years ago, and I was like, this is fucking wild.
Yeah.
No one's saying nothing to me. I'm just walking down the street smoking a joint, and we're in the same country. I can go to Texas and be arrested.
Oh yeah.
And
instantly.
so what's the, like, when you talk to your peers in Texas, your friends, your family, like, forget your friends. You go to, let's say, your grandma's house for Thanksgiving. What do they think about marijuana?
Well, now that I can explain it a little bit easier, and it's, common sense luckily thrives around my family. So it makes it easier to have those conversations. I'm 41. Neither of my grandmas are alive, unfortunately.
Yeah, sorry.
But when I tell my parents would, have the same apprehension that any traditional person that grew up in Mexico or these, countries where it's still the way to the devil, in essence, right? But once I explain to them the medicinal, values as to why they think it's bad, like when I explain, like, you only think that this is bad because this industry told you that it was bad, right? But if you look at the comparisons, how many people have ever died from cannabis? None. How many people have died from alcohol? That beer that you're holding, how many people do you think that beer has killed? Yeah. Right? That when you tell that to your dad and puffing on a cigarette, not that he smokes, but he did at one point, I'm like, this is the sort of conversation that you have. The second that you're able to educate, it's easier. But here in Texas, really quickly, look, Oklahoma, which is an hour and a half from here, is medicinal right now. You're allowed to consume it if you have a card. They're more, they're more strict and more right winged up there, but they see the money. And I know the one thing about Texans is they love their money. So eventually, it's going to happen, and when it does, I'm going to be ready. I'm preparing now for what the world looks like in 3 to 4 years.
That's interesting. Yeah, because like it's just when we won't get into politics, but like the difference of beliefs and opinions state by state in this country is like it's insane. I don't know what it's like in Germany and different regions of Germany. Like if you go, legalized. Yeah, but I'm just saying not just in cannabis, but like
in life. You're saying
life, like the way like in LA, we live in West Hollywood, right? The way a person in West Hollywood thinks versus someone in North Texas thinks could be completely different.
But do you know
every topic?
Do you know what's actually fascinating about that? And the irony of all of it is that we flattened access to information more than ever. So anyone in North Texas can consume the same information that someone in West Hollywood can, yet the opinions are just so drastically different.
The problem is the access to information is depending on who's delivering it.
Yeah, it's algorithmically delivered to a North Texas person versus we're getting the WeHo version of the news.
Exactly. What's crazy is that if you go to any club or any concert anywhere, people are surprised when they get in trouble for smoking joints. I'm talking about young people, right? I'm talking about the 20 whatevers that are out there. Like the amount of times that I've seen somebody like pointing at their joint, like this is, I'm getting in trouble because of this, right? Like they don't even believe in the law, right? And again, if you look at every single politician in Texas that has said no to this, but if you look at their investments, they're out there. Don't follow what they do. Follow what their money does.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's a great way to look at it. So, going forward, the vision is you're going to continue building your gaming empire and then build this cannabis brand alongside it, because you know that eventually it will be federally legal, and you're convinced that your audience will connect with these brands at a larger scale when that happens.
Yeah. And look, I now that I'm in it, like I want to make a difference too, and I'm not just saying that from a cringy, PR standpoint. Like I do think that the what I bring to the table is something that currently isn't developed that well in the cannabis industry, and it's mostly because content creators who are who smoke pot, or content creators who dab, or these content creators that are mostly cannabis creators, like they don't have the same opportunities as somebody that's creating gaming content, or somebody that's creating even carpentry or a podcast, because ads won't run against that. Coca-Cola is never going to say, I don't care they get a million views a podcast video. They're never going to sponsor that, man. You know, although I'm saying a Coke with a joint, it's delicious.
Yeah.
I also think there just needs to be a rebrand in the marijuana space. Like, you got to stop calling it pot, stop calling it weed, stop calling it all the stuff that when we were 13, 14, if you were caught with any of that, you go to jail, you get in trouble in school, whatever. And I like CBD to me is like new age. Like, so safe.
CBD should just be cannabis now.
Yes.
They should just call that cannabis, call it a day. It's the same thing. Like, no one cared about like blockchain until it was Web3. Web3 was a great
Web3 and NFTs changed.
It made
crypto.
it more accessible.
Yes.
And pot seems like you go to jail for pot.
Pot, to me, when someone says I'm smoking pot, I'm like,
whoa.
Flashbacks to high school to the bad kids.
Yeah.
You're a bad guy. You pot smoking motherfucker.
Yeah. Look,
like, think about like Molly made ecstasy normal.
Yeah.
They just changed the name.
Yeah.
Yo, that's a good point.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, but even then, I think that's not my thing, right? It's too chemical. I don't even take aspirin, right? Like, this is the only thing that, has allowed me. And even my wife, right, who doesn't smoke, like, she originally, when I brought this up to her, she's like, well, she asked me all the questions. And I'm like, baby, would you rather me drink a bottle of bourbon a week and wake up hangover every single time and just, think about it, right? So once you start to compare and explain, it makes it a lot easier for people to digest that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's exciting for you. So do you know what retailers you're in California? And, where can people kind of check it out?
Yeah, look, Caliva.com right now. You can order it to your door.
How do you spell that?
Caliva, CALIVA.com.
Okay.
And just look for Pine Park and see if it's available in the area, which it should be. And then you can just order that. If you order the Camp Driver, not only are you not gonna be mad at me, but you're gonna be like, yo, that shit was good. Now, we're also in Coastal, and in December we are going to be doing a meetup at Sweet Flower. So that's gonna be like super cool.
Sweet Flower are our friends. That's amazing. Do you know what location?
Yes, but not off the top of my head.
Okay. Dope. Yeah, we're actually located like a mile from the Beverly location.
I think it might be the Beverly location. So I expect to see
Melrose,
both of you there.
Sorry.
We'll be there.
Great. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, congrats, man. I mean, what an incredible story, just building. You're clearly on the early side of the whole gaming industry, which is exciting to see. And, shout out to a 41-year-old. Like, we're the Tom Brady's of our business.
80s babies, baby.
Well, congrats, man. And thank you for coming on. And do you have any parting words for our listeners?
Thank you for listening. If you guys enjoy the conversation, maybe you can follow me on all the social media platforms, X, H3CC or HECC. You can find me. It won't be a difficulty. And parting words for you two, I had such a good time that I hope one day you guys will come on my podcast and then maybe I can return to yours.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
We'd love
come
to.
anytime.
Yeah. I was going to say maybe we'll come to Texas one day, but we'd only come if you guys are winning championships.
No, well, that should be an easy one to do.
All right, man. Well, congrats again. And it was amazing meeting you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. That was an incredible conversation. It's exciting to see just how far gaming has come so quickly. And I think our guy, Rusty, would be proud. We're embracing the gaming community.
Yeah, we've come a long way from two people who haven't played video games since we were probably 20 years old. Now we talk
20 years old. I didn't play video games after like 15.
I played NCAA football during college.
Okay, yeah, I definitely didn't play.
And Madden.
I haven't played since 1995.
I don't think I've held a controller in 20 years. No, 15 years.
I tried for 5 minutes to play Fortnite with Rusty like 2 years ago. And obviously I tried to attend the Travis Scott concert. That never happened.
The Travis Scott concert never heard around the world.
Yeah, exactly. That was my only chance. I'm never going to see the guy.
Yeah, that might have been your last chance.
So speaking of Rusty, I got a lot of DMs recently. I just got a DM right before this podcast. My friend said, hey, when Rusty came on the pod, I bought that sandbox coin and I made 30 grand. $30,000.
Rusty's making people rich.
I can't, even in our Discord, how many people bought Sandbox at, I think that the Sandbox...
it was 75 cents when Rusty came on.
It's $6 now.
So it went up $1 in a day? Because I saw it yesterday at 5.
I think it's $5.95 right now. Let's take a look at it. But so whatever Sandbox is on absolute fire. It was mentioned here on...
So Rusty's retiring.
It's at 538 now. It's insane. The high is 560.
And Rusty came on probably, 6 weeks ago?
If that. I don't even
Maybe
think it was
4
that
weeks
long
ago.
ago. And so I think the more interesting part is there are a lot of things said on this podcast that are not financial advice. But if you go, take your time, do your homework, understand what these people are talking about, and you feel it's a right fit, you can make a lot of money. And I think that's the most fascinating thing about just this medium that's happening right now. Because like when I watched CNBC, so I watched CNBC as a kid, like maybe whoever was playing gaming, I used to sit and watch CNBC when I was 16 years old. And I would listen to these people and these talking heads. But, not until decades later did I realize they're completely full of shit and they know nothing.
Yeah, especially on CNBC where they have these like fake traders talking about their positions.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to them, you're going to lose money.
Yeah, well, because they have
no idea what they're talking about. Like they talk about companies, because right now, obviously, the biggest companies are technology companies. And you hear the way they talk about them, you're like, you don't know the first thing about any of these companies.
Exactly. And I think what happens on a podcast like this, you get Rustin, you get Amit, who come in, who are talking about an industry they are experts in. They live, breathe, and die this industry every single day. And so when they give a suggestion, you can go with pretty high certainty that like they understand what they're talking about.
I mean, let's be clear. On this podcast, we're 4 years old. I think I came in 3.5 years ago, maybe a little longer. I was talking about Ethereum and Bitcoin when it was completely out of favor.
Yeah.
Ethereum was sub $100.
Yeah. But Sandbox went up 5x in fucking 30 days.
But now Ethereum is a safe product.
Yeah.
Like Sandbox is going to have volatility.
Yeah.
Right? But like no one thinks Ethereum is going to zero at this point.
No, absolutely not. And I think the interesting thing is like the world is moving at such a fast pace, and we were joking about it with Anand's friend Ken, but I spent he lives in the Philippines and he's really dug deep in the DeFi world. And the other day I was like, all right, just fucking let's figure this out. Tell me what's going on. And we FaceTimed and I sat with him on the phone for 1 hour and he literally walked me through what's going on and how to do it. And now I feel with high certainty I know how to do it. And I already started staking. I'm getting crazy yields. And like, I don't want to say it yet because I want to make sure that it's real. And I don't want people to lose money because of me. I'm going to put my own money up. I'm going to try it. And if it works, I will share. But like this shit, even just following it for the last 24 hours, the amount of flow of money that goes in and out is fucking scary.
And with the crazy thing about crypto and the products you're talking about, it's basically like you're finding these things on Uniswap and you're staking, which is you're effectively lending.
Yeah.
And it's how dynamic of a market it is.
Oh, yeah.
And how liquid the market is.
Yeah.
So I've been talking about this for a year and a half now. When DeFi kind of really took off, which was summer of 2020, it was July and August where it just like, that was a tipping point. And that was a $0 economy 2 years ago. $0. And it was 8-9 billion a year ago. Take a guess what it's at today.
500 million.
No, 110 billion.
I think it doubles by January.
And that is like absolute insanity. So this was $0.
Yeah.
And there's $100 billion, $110 billion locked in decentralized finance protocols.
Yeah. Who has all this money?
$110 billion.
Yeah.
So I gotta imagine like a 23-year-old hedge fund trader just quits and just does this for themselves.
Yeah, I mean,
like, why would you go work at Renaissance? Sure, they'll pay you $1 million a year if you're 23.
you know
If
why?
That's smart.
They're
They're doing both.
You do both.
Yeah.
I don't think if you understand this world, and it's not a crazy amount of time. Here's what I've learned. We were hot to trot on a recent NFT drop, and we were paying attention. I followed it closely. Here's my the two takeaways from the NFT world and the DeFi world. The NFT world is, to me, and this is my layman's terms, 24 hours into it. I'm sure an expert's going to say, I believe the NFT world moves way too fast. And it's about understanding what projects are available and minting them in a correct period of time. If you're able to mint it on launch, you could reap the benefit of like that parabolic launch post when all of the whatever has been minted, and then it gets released on OpenSea and people are reselling. If you're fortunate enough to catch one of those, you make a lot of money really, really quick. Like there was a thing we were following the other day, Wolf Games. You could mint a sheep or mint a wolf, then mint a sheep.
Yep.
And it was like 0.3 ETH, and boom, 12 hours later, the wolf are selling for 8 ETH, which is at that time, $34,000. Basically make $34,000 investing $1,000. And the thing about that was, one, it's like I was on the go when that thing happened. You can't do it from your goddamn phone. So that's a problem. You got to be at your computer. You have to have enough money in your MetaMask. You have to have enough gas for all the fees and the ETH for all the gas fees. And I felt just doing it personally, my experience was that it was too fast. I had to know this, had to know that. And I don't feel comfortable with that shit.
I also think NFTs and DeFi attract two different people.
Yeah.
NFTs, it's fairly straightforward. Get a MetaMask wallet or a Coinbase wallet and connect it to OpenSea.
Yeah.
And you can play in the game.
But even that, the reason why it's not that simple is you're buying the resale market. The way you make money is you are at the beginning of a project.
Right.
If you like what they're doing, you get to mint it right away.
But if you think about DeFi, it's a much more technical process. You just went through it.
Yeah.
Right? And to put real capital behind it, you have to really trust yourself to know what you're doing.
So I'm putting real capital this week, and I'm fucking nervous. And I mean,
you should be.
And by the way, I told my wife, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. And she was like, explain it to me. So we sat last night, I opened up my laptop and we sat for 1 hour and I gave her, and she has not once ever shown interest in any of this stuff, because I jokingly said to her, I was like, man, I wish Dominic was 13.
So he could just do it for you?
Yeah, I would trust a 13-year-old to do this.
Yeah.
Because
tech native people are better than non-tech native people.
Yeah. And then she's like, maybe I could do it. And I was like, fuck it. Let's sit right now, turned off the TV. And I sat and walked her through it. And I was like, this is what is happening. And then so what we're going to do is we started with yesterday as a test, we started with $1,000. This week, we're going to put more money into it, a lot more money. And with the $1,000, we're going to look tonight how much yield we made, and then feel comfortable if it's like scalable or not.
Can I give the boomer?
Yeah.
Like I'm the boomer, right?
Yeah.
I've been in crypto since 2011, 12, whatever. I've been through 3 crypto winters. 3 times. My holdings have reduced by 90%.
Yeah.
The people that have been in crypto and in DeFi have never experienced that.
So you mentioned a couple of your friends who listen to the podcast, and you said the interesting take for them. So the friend that kind of helped me through this process, he's like, this is the greatest thing in the world. He's like, you go to sleep and it's just more money. It goes up.
Yeah.
And I go, what do you mean? He's like, you just go to sleep and you make more money. So you go to sleep. This is like, well, is that what you believe?
This is the problem with this whole thing. And I've read about all these different staking. I'm gonna fuck around with it and I'll put some money behind it. But I've seen my holdings go down by 90% 3 times.
Yeah.
And that's with zero leverage. And everyone else, a lot of people are using leverage. A lot of people are doing like, these coins can disappear. Just a warning to everyone. Ethereum's at 4,300 today. If you told me it was at $2,000 in 7 days, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd believe it.
Yeah. But that's not even fathomable for someone that was in crypto in the last year.
Yeah.
That it can go down like that.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part because there will be a correction, right? I mean, I sound like the person that is like in their 50s and when they talk about the stock market.
Relax,
like,
Jamie Dimon over here. Our resident Jamie. No, you go to sleep and it goes up. That's all it is.
This thing can, and there's so many things that can happen that can crater it, right?
Oh yeah, there's global macro things that people don't take into consideration because the problem is when you tell someone, hey, this shit can go down, they're like, no, it can't. Blockchain's solid. The technology's there. But like, if there was an oil crisis tomorrow and oil went to $400 a barrel, everything, all bets are off.
We saw it. I mean, 99, how many percent of people weren't in crypto March 2020? 95%?
That are now? Yeah.
95%?
Yeah.
Right? And I saw that March of 2020 was the first time I didn't believe the other 2 crypto winters. I was like, oh my God, it's not stopped going down because there was a flight to cash. There was a global pandemic, Black Swan event. Now we know they're no longer Black Swan events. They happen every 10 years. If they happened every 10 years the last 2 decades, they're going to happen every 5 years, every 3 years. Yeah. Those things are just going to happen much quicker and at much bigger scale because of the way society works today. Because of technology, because everyone is connected. Black Swan events happen so quickly. And I remember in March of 2020, even the most fucking Bitcoin maximalist people you could possibly like imagine. There's a guy named Dan Held. That's obviously a fake name on Twitter. He's very famous on crypto Twitter. I remember listening to him in March of 2020 and on a podcast, and he was like, yeah, there was a chance Bitcoin goes to zero. That was the biggest stress test we have experienced since 2008 when the fucking white paper came out. Yeah. When there was a flight to cash, does this asset hold any value? Yeah. And it did. It floored at like just under 3,000. Yeah. And that was the biggest moment in crypto where you're like, oh my God, enough people, when the world's falling apart, the stock market's crashing, enough people were like, we're not selling under 3,000. Yeah. But it went from like 12 to 3,000 in like 24 hours. Yeah. And that can happen again. Yeah. And then when that happens, everyone's gone. So do the youth just disappear from crypto? Do they ever come back? No, they'll come back. It's because there'll be a video on TikTok that says, you didn't make money on that crash? Guess what I did, you dumb motherfuckers. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to turn all of our losses back to wins. And here's the thing. I don't think a crash is a bad thing. It's a bad thing for people who are over-levered and all get wiped. Yeah. Like, that's a bad thing. Yeah. The levered part is definitely the scary part. But it's also like putting meaningful capital that if you lose it on these high-yield staking projects is very risky. Yeah. I saw a project today I was reading about based in India, 40,000% APR. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what is this? And I'm like reading about it and I'm like, I don't know. I don't have faith in these guys. There's so many things that can go wrong. Yeah. So I mean, it could just be a Ponzi and they take the money. I think experimenting is fine. But if you put capital that if you were to lose on these 40,000 yield projects, like that would affect your life, it's very risky. Like Bitcoin and Ethereum are risky in of itself.
Yeah.
Now you're taking it 10x, 100x.
This is 100x.
Right. Like Bitcoin, absent a hack, is not going to zero.
Yeah.
Right. But it could go to 30,000 in a week.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone in crypto today that just joined understands that.
Because I don't think people understand when one big asset class goes down, everything goes down.
Yeah.
Because people just need liquidity. Like if for example, if Apple has a horrible Christmas and they report in January and the stock goes down $30, the entire market is fucking tanked.
So perfect example in the infrastructure bill, or is it the Build Back Better bill? One of the two, I forget. There was a stipulation that altcoins could get screwed, that mutual funds can't hold altcoins. So in theory, you would think that's great news for Bitcoin, because even if all the altcoins can be held, you have to hold Bitcoin. Guess what? Bitcoin was down 7% on that news.
Yeah.
$1 trillion asset class was down 7% because they move in lockstep. It's like today, the last 2 days, growth tech has gone down. And it doesn't matter if you're Shopify, Twilio, Datadog, doesn't matter. Everyone went down.
Yeah.
So all it takes is like one thing to happen and everyone loses.
Yeah.
So I want, being the crypto boomer, because I'm literally the crypto boomer, everyone take caution.
Yeah.
This shit can change so quickly. And if you listen to us, you could have made a lot of money, but I'm also going to say you can lose a lot if you get too risky.
Yeah, and I think the thing to also remember is this isn't, we have not proven that this asset class is like holding Apple. Like, take your chips off the table. Play with house money. Like, especially if you need the cash.
Yeah, it all depends on your personal situation. But if a crypto correction by 30 to 40% means you're flat broke, you need to rethink your strategy.
Yeah. Well, because
a 30, 40% correction can happen in days, not weeks.
Yeah. It could easily happen this weekend.
Yeah. And not saying we think it's going to happen, but if it happened, if everything was down by 50% in a week, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Seen it before.
Yeah. Yeah, and you just go on with your day. But someone who's over levered.
Yep. Or if that's all their money.
Yeah. I think that's the other issue, is that young people have their diversification is very limited. Their diversification is, I hold some ETH and the rest is in complete fuckery.
I think the average young person, if I had to suspect, believes ETH is Apple, the slow moving, like, it'll be fine. Like, it'll keep doing 5-6% a year.
Yeah.
And the rest is in fuckery.
Yeah. And the thing is even Gary Vee came out on Twitter yesterday saying that what he see in NFTs is so scary that he's like, I believe 99% of these projects will go to zero.
Mm-hmm.
And that's someone that is all in on
who's probably made more money this year than he's ever made in his career.
Yeah, I mean, VeeFriends is a very popular NFT, and he even is like cautioning people. The NFT market honestly scares me more than even the altcoin market, because they're literally selling like. So like, you take an altcoin, forget the meme coins. You're taking these alternative coins that, like, maybe they have some weird mission to solve some weird problem, and at least they're doing something. When you're just selling a dinosaur and it has no utility, this dinosaur, that is like, it's like a meme coin as well. But the problem is like, if you look at how many meme coins there are, and then you look at how many bullshit NFT projects, it's 100x.
Yeah.
So there's like, I'll give you an example. I follow the account at NFT.
Mm-hmm.
The moment I follow this account at NFT on Instagram, I get flooded with hundreds of DMs for NFT projects now. You want to be on the ground floor of the rocket ass dinosaur, blah, 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 blah. Like, every 5 minutes, I'm literally getting a DM of some bullshit ass NFT project that some guy in India is pumping up. And so that to me is like fucking scary.
Yeah.
Because people are falling for that.
And we know this, like, just human psychology. 99.9% of the people don't have the stomach for the volatility that comes with this space.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember that day when Bear Stearns was going from like $30, 25 to 20 to 5 to 2?
I mean, we were sitting and watching it.
Yeah, we're watching it real time. And that happens in crypto all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I've had I think I have an extremely high risk tolerance, and I've had days when I'm watching my crypto balance, like over the last 10 years, I'm like, is it ever going to stop going down?
Yeah.
Like,
refresh down, refresh down, refresh down. Yeah.
And I think, everyone needs to experience that before they put meaningful capital in this space, because it can and it will happen.
Yeah.
This isn't there's going to be a new floor. Every time it crashes, a new floor is established. I don't know what that new floor is. Is it Bitcoin at 50K, or is it 55K, or is it 25K? I don't know.
Yeah. So speaking of that, so Thanksgiving is this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
All the families will be getting together on Thursday. Pick the top 3 topics an average family is talking about at Thanksgiving all around the country. Forget our family. What do you think the average family is talking about?
I would guess crypto NFT is one of 3.
Okay.
I think vaccination is 2.
Oh, I like that.
One of the 2.
Yeah.
One of the 3, not saying in order. And the third is just general inflation. Things are costing so much. Gas is up. Eggs cost so much.
This meal cost $40 more than it did last year.
Right.
Okay, that's good.
Those are my 3.
That's good, because I was concerned, there's going to be Kyle Rittenhouse talk.
Oh, I think politics,
Are out of favor.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's talking politics this Thanksgiving.
I think inflation makes a lot of sense. I think inflation supply chain shit, because no matter, I was talking to a former employee of ours yesterday who was working in the food industry, and he was telling me there's a dry ice shortage.
Yeah.
Every person I talk to, no matter what the industry is, there's some sort of shortage. So I think shortage is definitely going to be the big conversation. I went to...
And gas has doubled, right? In a year.
Yeah.
So,
supply chain inflation is one topic. Crypto NFTs the other. And what was the other one you said?
Vaccination.
Vaccination, definitely. Oh yeah, that'll be big.
Yeah, because half the people... I saw a shirt in Beverly Hills, unvaccinated and ready to talk politics on Thanksgiving. I definitely sidestepped him
as he coughs down fucking Beverly Drive.
That's a pretty bold shirt to wear.
I mean, the thing is the people that are unvaccinated are very proud about it.
Yeah,
and vocal.
It's a badge of honor.
It's a badge of honor. You didn't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So.
Unvaccinated and proud to talk politics on Thanksgiving.
That's an insane shirt.
That shirt must be viral. Whoever made that shirt.
Yeah, Breitbart. All right. Those are 3 good guesses for what
Do you think Trump is even a topic anymore? No, right? We've muted him on every platform.
Yeah. I would love to know what your family's talking about. Let us know on Thursday night, Friday. Curious. Don't lead the conversation in any way, but if it ends in these places, let us know.
And please, everyone's going to have the cousin at Thanksgiving that made, 100x in crypto in the last year. Put some caution.
Yeah. They should double down. It's going to the moon.
How am I the one that has been preaching crypto for a fucking decade? I'm like, everyone, can we slow down a bit?
I'm just going to tell you what, Anand's close friend and a good friend of mine as well told me yesterday. You just go to sleep and it goes up. And you see that number? He literally points to it. We're FaceTime. He goes, show me the screen. He goes, see that number? That number will be higher when you wake up. I was like, that's the greatest thing ever. Yeah. But, obviously proceed with caution.
I mean, and I want to know from Thanksgiving, everyone's going to have a family member that made some ungodly amount in crypto in the last year, right?
I think everyone's going to have a family member that made an ungodly amount of money.
Okay.
And not just crypto. I think someone was slanging whatever. I think there's a family member, a cousin.
Some
an
family member got rich this year.
Yes. There's someone like that. And they're going to have their story of Jim at the auto shop.
They're flipping used cars.
Yes. Jim at the auto shop is having a record year because everyone bought used cars and they don't work.
Yeah.
Or whatever, whatever
Just
it
make
is.
sure that person's paying for the meal.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on to some pop culture. Grammy nominations are out today. We like to torch these shows and say they're irrelevant, but shit, every time they're out, we talk about it.
Yep.
We don't watch the show, perhaps, But Grammy nominations are out. I mean, I'm going straight to our friend Nas. Got nominated again for Best Rap Album, and he's got a very tough category. He's got Drake with Certified Lover Boy. He's got Kanye with his brand new album, and he's got Tyler the Creator and J. Cole. I mean, this is like...
That's blockbuster.
It is blockbuster.
Every one of those artists has cult-like followings.
If I'm the Grammys and trying to stay an ounce of relevance, have all of them perform. Rap brings viewers.
Yeah.
That's what youth...
And it brings social media impressions.
Yeah, instantly. Because if you get Kanye on stage, you get Nas, J. Cole, like the internet will go nuts for those. So I'm looking forward to seeing if Nas can go back to back. Song of the Year. That's kind of the category that I always like to have, guess what that is. So the songs of the year are Ed Sheeran's Bad Habits.
Okay.
Love it.
I'm a big Ed Sheeran fan.
A Beautiful Noise, Alicia Keys and Brandi Carlile. Never heard of it.
Have you heard of it,
heard
Tim?
of this song.
Brandi Carlile and Alicia Keys. Yeah. It's kind of old at this point.
Okay. Driver's License, Olivia Rodrigo. Everyone knows that. Fight for You, Her. Happier Than Ever, Billie Eilish. Kiss Me More, Doja Cat. Leave the Door Open, Silk Sonic, which is
Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. Montero, Lil Nas X. Peaches, Bieber and Daniel
song.
Caesar and Giveon. And Right on Time, Brandi Carlile again. Who is Brandi Carlile?
Brandi Carlile is great.
Is that Brandi Carlile from like 25 years ago? Heaven on Earth?
I mean, she's not super young, but she's I'd say she's got resurgence here.
Okay, so is my picks for Song of the Year are going to be Driver's License.
Brandi Carlile's 40.
Wow,
Yeah.
Look at her. My picks are Montero or by Lil Nas
13
X.
Grammy nominations, Brandi Carlile.
No idea who that is. That's insane. Anand's boy Kid Laroi was nominated for Best New Artist.
I'm guessing he's not showing up. He took a mental health break.
Yep, sounds like it. There's a band or an artist named Japanese Breakfast. That's an interesting name.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with that.
Japanese breakfast is really good too.
Are they Japanese at least? They're culturally appropriating the name.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow! Cancel them. Baby Keem. That's amazing.
Yeah, congratulations to one of our best friends, Anthony Saleh. His artists have 5 Grammy nominations this year.
That's Kendrick.
No, Baby Keem is 3 and Nas is 2.
Well, Baby Keem, Kendrick have.
Got it. Yeah.
And Nas. And I don't know. Song of the Year seems pretty competitive. I'm going with either Olivia Rodrigo or Lil Nas X. Those are my 2 favorite songs. Best New Artist. I really think Baby Keem is the best new artist, but I think Olivia Rodrigo is going to win that.
Because of just pop culture. She's so big.
And the songs were big. Every single song was so big.
So I went to Delilah last Friday night, and Bruno Mars performed.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Insane.
I was just sitting with the
Bruno and Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them.
It was a pretty ridiculous experience, and they were literally right next to us.
I mean, the people who've seen the Delilah perform.
Ken was blown away. So Ken, who we were talking about.
He's Filipino.
He's Filipino. First trip, pretty much out of Manila. He had to do some other stuff, but to the U.S., first trip to the U.S., we go to a Laker game. Then we go to Delilah, and he sees Bruno Mars, and
who's basically God in the Philippines.
And they allowed video.
Oh, they did.
Everyone was doing it.
Yeah,
Everyone
I saw you guys
doing
in the background of someone's video.
Yeah, because we were at Mikey's table right next to Bruno Mars.
Yeah. Ken, by the way, is the one that said you just go to sleep and it goes up. I mean, considering his life right now, I get it.
Yeah, his life is up and to the right.
Well, all right. So we'll see what happens with the Grammys. It's going to be interesting seeing. It's very competitive. There's a lot of great songs. I don't know. I'm going with Lil Nas X and Olivia Rodrigo for a lot of things.
I will say this, the Grammy nominations feels just so much more relevant than they typically do.
Because they finally picked like fucking young artists, not like some weird avant-garde album that no one heard. Like, make it fun, make it young. So we'll see. Congratulations to everyone got nominated. Hope you win. And we'll be here to comment on all of that stuff.
We want Nas to win so we can get another Grammy party. That was our first post-COVID party.
Yeah, and that was like tame, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it now.
Yeah.
Great. So moving on. Supply chain problems show sign of easing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So I'll tell you anecdotally, all of the stuff that we've been waiting over 2 months. So anything that was ultra old is starting to finally get released. We got one container last week. We're getting another hopefully this week. And it does seem anecdotally like things are moving a little bit faster. Here's the thing. A lot of the stuff, as far as I'm concerned, if it's moving fast now, it's too fucking late. Because Black Friday is in 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas, if you were shipping wholesale to retailers, as far as you're concerned, you're in January.
Yeah, and I also think what's being reported is a lot of the Delta spread that stopped factories in Asia has calmed down. So they've peaked cases a couple months ago, peaked deaths a couple months ago. So now they're easing the restrictions on the factories. So Malaysia, which is a big chip factory, like base, is now full capacity. And a lot of the other Asian countries that have much stricter COVID protocols than we do here, they're all running at much higher capacities because Delta's kind of calmed down.
That's good. So a combination of manufacturing increased outflow plus the ports now have everyone's attention.
Yeah. They're 24 hours now, right?
Yeah. But the thing is like, it was just to the 11th hour. And I know that like all the goods will get released. I'm just curious to those folks who have reliance on like retail distribution. It takes time to get clothes inbounded into anything, any product inbounded into your warehouse and then distributed to stores all around the country. It takes weeks. It doesn't happen in days. So, if goods are still arriving right now, I don't know if they make the floor for Christmas.
Yeah.
Or is it like stores are stocked December 20th and then like that last 4 or 5 days is just bonkers.
Yeah, because retail's comping up.
Yeah.
Despite there's nothing to sell. I don't get that.
That's why I don't believe the people that say that their business is not good because of Delta or supply chain constraints. Because then you turn around and you see like Macy's double-digit comp from 2019. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
In Macy's?
Yeah, who's going to Macy's?
A lot of people. And so even Dillard's is reporting. Like,
no one's going to Dillard's.
Do you know Dillard's stock is up 10x in 1 year? 10x.
It's better than pretty much every tech company except for Tesla.
They're the Tesla of retail.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the folks that like at brick and mortar who are saying that their business is bad, it's their fault.
It's their product.
It's their product. It's similar to like the issue that Peloton is facing. They want to blame supply chain, but that's not what's happening. That stock is free falling.
Where's it at now? Let me check.
This morning it was at like 42.
Oh, it's really come down.
Yeah.
That was $100+ stock, right?
170.
170?
That was the peak. It's at $42.97. It was literally below $42 this morning. It's a $14 billion market cap. That thing needs to be chopped 60 more percent. 60 more percent, and you'll get the true value of that company. I'm not going to say it publicly because I don't want to bash things all the time publicly, but in the Discord, I picked my new Peloton.
What is it?
I'm not going to say it publicly.
Discord, we have thousands of members.
So it's a Discord exclusive.
So you gotta, let me look. Which channel?
General chat, you'll see blah, blah, blah is the next Peloton.
I like that one.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
It's I'm so confident in my answer on that one.
Yeah.
I feel good about it. So if you want to know what it is, go to Discord, check it out. Here's another SPAC. Another Billy. And one of our former sponsors, Manscaped.
Should not be former anymore.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, you guys just got a bag. The least you could do is keep our balls fresh.
I'll grow my mustache back.
Throw
use
some
Manscaped.
shekels.
So they are coming out of a SPAC. I think it's called Bright Lights Acquisition Corp. Manscaped is only 5 years old, and they are reportedly profitable. So I'm curious to see what that exactly means, but sounds like it is. $285 million of revenue in the last 12 months, and they've only raised $23 million. They're projecting top line revenue of $500 million next year.
It's damn impressive.
It's damn impressive.
23 million means they're absolutely profitable if you're doing that much in revenue.
Yeah, because otherwise you can finance it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's only $1 billion valuation.
Yeah.
Cheap. Yeah. Good for them.
That's exciting. Good, really good for them. You know who it's not so good for? Zoom. Zoom is kind of finding a hard time in this post COVID world because the stock just got fucking hammered yesterday. And here's the thing. I don't find myself using less Zoom. Like, I'm still using it a lot. Like, I'm using it every single day still. And so basically, like, they're reporting $1 billion, more than $1 billion in revenue, solid results. But I think people lowered their price targets. People have less faith in the company. I don't understand why. I don't understand what's holding people back. I got to read kind of what numbers they put out that scared people.
Yeah, I think their growth rate just, it got priced at a growth rate that wasn't sustainable a year ago. And naturally, as the world opens up, and there's definitely Zoom fatigue, I think people are doing a much more telecon conference calls than they were a year ago because there wasn't this need to see someone because you were locked up in your home. And I think Zoom's going to be fine. It's a big business, but there's no way you can have that growth with the world opening up.
I mean, so Zoom is now a $61 billion market cap. DocuSign is $47 billion. DocuSign is worth more than Robinhood.
That's pretty crazy.
The number of companies I can name that it's more valuable than is bananas.
Yeah, because this is like kind of the thing I've always thought about, and which is true of all these software companies, is how they get priced when the growth decelerates. Yeah. So, and that's what happens. The stocks tumble. So when SaaS companies are growing at 60, 70%, even 50% year over year, you get these generous multiples. But the moment the growth decelerates, the stocks collapse. So what happened with Zoom is that they were growing at 87% year over year because of the pandemic, 66% year over year. And then this last quarter, they were only up 18%. So you get rewarded when your growth rate is super high. And the assumption is you sustain that growth rate. But once it decelerates, your stock collapses.
Yeah. I get it. I just don't, the multiples don't make sense. Even DocuSign, they're a $1.4 billion revenue company valued at $47 billion. They lost $250 million.
Yeah, but I bet you their growth rate. Like SaaS companies.
How is DocuSign losing money? What are they spending money on? Explain that to me.
Probably sales gen, lead gen, getting customers that they.
Happy hours.
Yeah, paying an insane.
They lost $250 million in happy hours. Where the fuck is that money going? It's not like it's some crazy tech.
No, the way
the
way software companies get valued is basically you can upfront all your costs and building the software, adding features, gaining customers. As long as your growth rate stays at that north of 50% clip, no one gives a shit about how much you're losing because the assumption is ultimately they all become profitable customers.
What is the vision of DocuSign that I don't get? What are they going to do in the future for me?
My guess is they have.
What's the Mark Zuckerberg of DocuSign?
The cohort behavior of DocuSign is that the people that signed up 5 years ago are all cash flow positive for the company.
Yeah.
And as they keep acquiring more customers, those are now more future profitable customers.
So, for example, do you pay for DocuSign as an individual?
No.
So they're making their money off companies.
Yeah, companies. Think about it. I mean, how many documents, even pre or post pandemic, that you're just doing on your phone?
Yeah, all of them.
Right.
but I just use Apple Notes. It's free.
Yeah, so it's competition.
And
But think about the volume of signatures required in the course of business.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Everything needs a signature.
No, I understand the value. I think it's amazing, the product. I just don't understand how you lose all that money. It's because the
I'll tell you how. I went.
Yeah, tell me how.
So we did a baby moon at the Four Seasons Maui
Okay.
before Mav was born. So this is 2018.
Okay.
And you've been there. You know that like outdoor bar?
Yeah, the one that faces the
Yeah,
wall.
there's like a Warriors playoff game.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting and watching by myself, and I just see all these like Warrior fans. And I was like, why are there so many Warriors fans? And it's a DocuSign sales conference.
That's why I was leading to. I wanted you to say the story.
So they basically rewarded all their salespeople with a free trip to the Maui Four Seasons and all expenses paid.
Okay.
So all I saw was Steph Curry jerseys, and it enraged me.
And that was that's a 4-figure a night fucking hotel.
Yeah.
Insane F&B costs to just
Oh, yeah, I mean, a water's $10 there, right?
more.
Right?
Everything. It's like a breakfast is $100. So they just spent $5 million on these bunch of schmohawks and took them to
But all those schmohawks and their Steph Curry jerseys probably brought leads that are super profitable today.
yeah. I don't think they are because they just lost $250 million. I don't think it fucking matters. They're just schmohawks are just treating other schmohawks to a great schmohawk vacation.
Yeah. It's DocuSign. Go work at DocuSign. Get a free Four Seasons trip.
Here's another interesting company that's struggling. Farfetch misses revenue estimates and trims forecasts. So here's what I don't get. Farfetch is a luxury marketplace. Nothing is hotter in the world than luxury. And e-commerce, right? All the right trends. I get part of their thing is that they said that they believe people are buying luxury back in brick and mortar. Our friends over at Revolve, who have owned Forward, they have Revolve, they're not having that problem. Their business is on fucking fire.
So you're saying it's a product problem?
I think it's a Farfetch problem because I don't understand how they're missing. They're another company I think is severely overvalued still. So I'm curious to see like what are all their excuses.
Let's see. I'm pulling up.
I read that they said that people are coming back to brick and mortar. Sure, I can account for some of that, but like their business shouldn't be struggling.
I think it's actually interesting because their growth rates are actually pretty crazy. Like GMV, 97% 2-year growth, 23% year over year. I had a close friend, who's a public market CFO that explained to me the value of being a great CFO, and it's messaging and it's managing expectations. So those two things matter so much because public market companies basically get reassessed every quarter after earnings and announcements come out, right? And there's a skill he was explaining to me of being a great CFO that you have to be able to make sure you hit your earnings. So that's like the sandbagging your expectations, and then B, always having a great message.
Yep.
And I think a lot of companies probably have bad CFOs because you see great businesses that trade down after earnings announcements, and you're like, why would they trade down?
Yep.
So I think that's also like a thing that people need to take into account with a lot of these public market, like, because it's so volatile quarter to quarter, especially with high growth companies.
Yeah.
Like you just see, like, I mean, companies can trade down 50, 60% in a quarter.
I think I get it. I just don't like when people give the bullshit excuses. And I guess Wall Street believes it most of the time. As long as you give some excuse. You can't just say, sorry, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why people aren't buying shit like they used to.
Yeah, it's interesting. They say accelerated 2-year stack digital platform GMV is 97%, but just 30% year over year. So there's definitely that's good messaging. You see the 97%.
Yeah. That's chicanery.
Yeah, that's chicanery.
That's good old fashioned chicanery. So we'll see.
They're actually making money, huh? Adjusted EBITDA. Adjusted's the keyword.
Yeah. Adjusted means you just take the negative sign, you adjust it to a positive sign.
Right.
That's exactly what that means. Adjusted EBITDA is fucking insane to me.
That's a good CFO.
Yeah.
Adjusted EBITDA.
Yeah. Negative sign, boom, positive sign.
I mean, anyone who takes adjusted EBITDA at face value, like, it's adjusted.
Yeah.
What did we adjust for?
All we did was we took out some expenses and wanted to make sure that it's positive.
Yeah.
I can't even believe adjusted EBITDA. This is when
This is why, like, they talk about like what the SEC needs to do and all like the things like kind of macro, like let's get rid of billionaires, blah blah blah. But like
we should get rid of adjusted EBITDA.
right.
That's the first thing.
We should make financials just so easy to understand that everyone can understand it and decide if they want to invest or not.
Yeah. Adjusted EBITDA.
I mean, if I didn't do investment banking, there's no way I'd be able to understand a S1 and 10K, a 10Q. No chance.
Yeah.
I was forced to look at it every fucking day.
Yeah.
And I was forced to understand it. You just look at it, it's so intimidating. It's hundreds of pages.
Yeah. That's why you just got to go to sleep and it just goes up. Oh my God. All right, moving on. So we're going to end the episode. It is Black Friday coming up and I've got a couple of requests for you.
What's that?
You got to support our brands. We're eventually going to have our group chat NFT and that'll be an incredible way to support the podcast. But let's start with our brands. Hit up shopnewrepublic.com. We've consolidated all the brands we own into one site. It is insane deals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, stuff for like $5, $10. Great Christmas gifts for all your friends. These goods are in stock. We'll ship right away. Footwear, outerwear, whatever you need from all 5-4, GRC, Melrose Place. Incredible prices. Take advantage of it. Youngandreckless.com. Massive sale that's launching tonight. I'm sure We're Not Really Strangers are doing something, so go check that out. And, you know, if money's really, really tight for you, head on up to San Francisco and take whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. So it does.
I would personally, like, if you're heading up to San Francisco for Thanksgiving, I have an eye for a Dior jacket that I would love at 95% off.
So what we're referencing is Union Square in San Francisco. So the heart of San Francisco downtown.
Jumped on Black Friday early.
Yeah, Louis Vuitton got emptied out. How much is that in merchandise?
Million. I mean, I don't know if it's millions, but hundreds of thousands. Maybe it's
more,
millions.
right?
Maybe it is million.
Isn't there stuff for there for like 50 grand, 100 grand?
I mean, there's trunks. You know how much trunks are? Like 6 figures.
Yeah. So not only did a group of bandits loot out the Louis Vuitton store amongst others in the mall at Union Square, they went down to Walnut Creek and did the same thing.
Ah.
So you can get some great deals.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, if you're thinking about making the trek to the outlets, I'd rather just go to San Francisco. Why would you want to drive to sit and park and this? You go to San Francisco, drop your buddy off, take whatever you want, and go back.
I mean, we've seen the viral videos at Walgreens. Like, you need some toothpaste, just go to Walgreens, grab the toothpaste, and leave.
By the way, everyone is trying to rob the luxury stores. Go mid-tier. Go to J. Crew. Go to Lane Bryant. Go to mid-tier retailer and take whatever you want. Because what's happening at the luxury price point, that's a lot more competitive. There's going to be other people trying to steal.
Yeah, because there's like a resale market with luxury. There's
but
no
I'm just
resale.
saying, like, imagine if you're like, you know what? I could use a great pillow. I'm going to head over to Crate and Barrel and take. No one's robbing Crate and Barrel.
And there's no consequence for it.
Yeah, so I mean, this is I highly suggest you round up some gas money, head on over to San Francisco for Black Friday because it is the best deal in town. I can't imagine anything better.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any shout outs? I have a shout out actually. I have a shout out to Lynn, Robbie Snyder's mom. She just had a surgery and she's recovering from it. And I know she's a very active person. So we wish you a very speedy and quick recovery. And hopefully we'll see you back on the beach surfing. Mm-hmm. And happy Thanksgiving to your whole family. You guys are always incredible to us.
Yep.
What else?
Any shout outs?
I'll give a shout out, a final shout out to all of our listeners. Since we are celebrating Thanksgiving, we're extremely thankful for all of your support, all the time you guys give us every single week to listen and support everything we do, whether it's, by the way, Menlo Club's having an incredible sale. Go sign up for that as well. Well, I thank you guys. And I've seen over the years how many people have supported all of our brands, how many people have supported our initiatives. So it means the world to us. And so this Thanksgiving, when you're with your family and they're talking about something that you feel we can help them get educated on, put them onto the podcast, share it, and spread the love. The podcast has grown extremely well this year, and we're hopeful that it continues on this incredible growth. Thank you to all of our sponsors.
Yep.
Special thanks to Ledger for supporting us. Special thanks to Liquid IV, Athletic Greens. We have all of their deals that they're offering in our Discord. So go make sure you always check it out. And so you can be up to date on all that stuff. Other than that, have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving. And, ruffle some feathers. Make it a little uncomfortable at dinner. Bring up a topic.
I don't know. I'll tell you my view on Thanksgiving is shut up and eat.
Shut up and eat?
Yeah.
Okay.
I eat, drink, and when someone brings up something uncomfortable, I just shut the fuck up.
A lot of bad NFL games, which I'm kind of disappointed about.
I feel like the last couple of years, the NFL games have been bad.
You'd think they would figure this out. Like, come on. We know who the teams that are good are.
Well, they know you're going to watch it anyways.
So put the shitty games on? Yeah, I guess you're right.
All right. Be safe out there, people. There's a lot of crazy people out in the world. Be safe. Have an incredible weekend. We will not be back until Sunday. So enjoy the week off and catch up on all the old episodes. There are so many hidden secrets and tips that we've given that are making people rich.
Everyone's getting rich.
Go to sleep. It goes up.